Patrick Lang, Business Modification Group. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I want to do a quick video today specifically for sellers out there on a question that I get asked, but I don't get asked often enough. And that is, how much am I going to net? If I sell it for $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, $500,000, $10 million, whatever the figure is, how much am I going to put in the bank? You need to know that figure, in my opinion, before you go to market, because then you're going to know, are you going to accept an offer or are you not? You need to know what that figure is. So does it make sense mathematically to sell or not? There's typically 5 expenses, main expenses that come out at the time of sale or as a result of the sale. Now keep in mind, every deal is different. Every offer is different. Every buyer's expectations are different. You need to understand the deal that you're agreeing to. But if you identify these 5 things ahead of time, then there won't be any shocks typically along the way, and you'll have a good understanding of what does it need to sell for in order for me to net what I need. First thing is going to be taxes. Government's going to be in line first. They're going to get their money. Sorry about that, but that's just a reality, and typically that's going to be the biggest expense in the sale. I strongly recommend talking to your accountant, your CPA, your tax advisor to find out what that means for you so you have an understanding of what that expense is going to be. Second thing is going to be debt. Any debt on the company, because a buyer is buying the assets of the corporation in an asset sale, and if there's liens against the business, there's liens against those assets and you can't transfer it. What do I mean by liens against the business? Well, let's assume you owe a truck payment. You have bought a new truck and you owe $20,000 on it. You can't transfer the title of that vehicle because the bank still owns it. So you'll have to pay the bank off before you can transfer that over. Now, typically, we suggest doing that at closing. We never know what's going to happen in a deal, and sometimes deals fall apart. Doing it prior to closing, unfortunately, could strap you for cash if the deal doesn't go through. Third thing is going to be prepaid maintenance agreements. A lot of things, people brag about maintenance agreements and their impact, and they are a great thing, and they do help in selling price. But if you do what a lot of people do, one-time billing for 2 visits a year. Let's use that as an example. You charge $200 a year, you get 2 visits a year, and you've done one of the visits. So you still owe that customer another visit. Well, you're going to have to give that buyer, typically, a credit for that other $100. They're going to be the one that's going to do the work, and they should get the money for doing that work. So you've been paid for work that hasn't been completed, and they're going to expect that money. That's the third thing. Fourth thing is going to be a broker like me. If you work with somebody like me, potentially, there's going to be a fee. Now, obviously, I think it's well worth it. Everybody has a different opinion on that, but potentially there's going to be broker's fees and attorney's fees, right? If you're using an attorney, which you should, to handle the transaction, you're going to have professional fees that are going to be built into that. Fifth thing, and this is not always, but something to definitely keep in mind, is any employee owed items. And so what is an employee owed item? PTO, vacation time, bonuses potentially that they may have achieved, that they're going to end their service, their time of working for you, and go to work for this new company that's going to be buying you. So typically that new company is going to expect you to make the employee whole on whatever you owe them. They're not going to want to take over 3 weeks of vacation that they've accrued over the last 12 or 11 and a half months, and now they buy it and they have to give it to them. It's not fair to them. So you have to take care of that. Once again, keep in mind, every situation is a little bit unique. Those are the 5 typically biggest expenses we see coming out. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Hope you got value of this. Hope you have a fantastic day.